Good evening, everyone. I'm Darren Espanto, and I'm pleased to join you all tonight to celebrate International Youth Day. Now, allow me to take a few minutes of your time to share with you my thoughts about us, the youth of today, amidst the pandemic. Now, we, the youth, make up 20% of the total world population, and in the Philippines, we are more than 30 million strong. Today, while we commend the efforts of so many young Filipinos in responding to this pandemic, we still see and feel a lot of its impact, especially among us, the youth. One of the areas where we have been most affected by this pandemic is our health, both physically and mentally. Many young people, particularly those with disabilities, pre-existing health conditions, or those coming from marginalized communities, have seen it has effects on young people's mental health as well. There's the fear and anxiety of contracting the coronavirus. There's the sadness of losing those close to us due to this dreadful disease. And there's the isolation, the loneliness, the uncertainty that brings many young people to the brink of despair. Now, also impacted by this pandemic is employment. I know a lot of teenagers were holding part-time jobs to help them through their studies. Sadly, a lot of those jobs have been lost. Then there are the young people who left school to work and contribute to the family's income, and since the lockdown, many have found themselves unemployed. Let's also talk about all the young graduates and new job seekers. Not only were they deprived of a proper graduation experience, but they now face a labor market situation that can only be described as dire, with many companies and institutions forced to shut down or downsize. However, I personally think that it is education where we have been impacted most. A report on the impacts of COVID-19 by the Council of Europe and the European Union says that globally, 1.6 billion students were affected by school closures due to the pandemic. In the Philippines, our government, through the Department of Education, has decided to shift to online classes or remote learning. While this is seen as the best recourse, it also comes with a new set of challenges both for educators and students alike. I've seen stories about educators recording their classes in preparation for the school year. This goes across all levels of the education system across the globe. Some are conducting exams via webinar tools, while other educators are still trying to figure out the best alternative to their now digital lesson plan to ensure that students are provided the proper education they deserve. Now, I just want to ask everyone if you have heard of the story that went viral on social media about the father from Naga who offered to barter his chickens for 2 smartphones. It turned out well, right? And a lot of netizens positively responded, and now his sons will finally have access to online learning. But just imagine how many more parents and students face similar challenges when adapting to the new system. The United Nations, through Secretary General Antonio Guterres, has called upon governments to build back better after the current crisis by creating more sustainable, resilient, and inclusive societies. To do this, the Secretary General pointed out that special focus must be given to education, as societies cannot transform if what and how we learn remains the same. The UN General Assembly recognizes Education for Sustainable Development, or ESD, as a model for rethinking learning to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. It also develops the knowledge, skills, values, and attitudes that enable learners to make informed decisions and actions on global problems such as the climate crisis. It empowers young people to be global citizens, taking active part both locally and globally in facing and resolving challenges and becoming proactive contributors to the creation of a more just, a more peaceful, tolerant, inclusive, secure, and sustainable world. As a key enabler for all 17 Sustainable Development Goals, ESD may be key to preparing the world for future crises like COVID-19. While our government and educational institutions are working on the best systems possible, given our situation, let us, the youth of today, contribute as well by consolidating all the concepts, ideas, and aspirations that have been shared these past few days as part of the International Youth Day celebrations. Let us be assertive enough to put our ideas on the table when the opportunity presents itself. Platforms like this online forum, supported by Ideas Positive, the United Nations Development Program in the Philippines, UNICEF, PYDN, and other organizations working to support the youth are available to us. Let us take advantage of them. I encourage all of you to share the youth declaration that will be presented tonight with your friends and families. Ultimately, this is a call to action, to continuously educate ourselves about the issues, and not just those that affect the youth, but the entire nation. Let us properly utilize social media for propagating the right information and convince our peers to widen their knowledge about issues we face. Join or volunteer for organizations conducting programs for the community. Actively participate in local or national youth engagement programs initiated by the government, private institutions, and non-government organizations. Be a leader and set a good example by complying with guidelines to protect our community against COVID-19. So, you guys know the drill. Keep those masks on properly, wash your hands often, maintain a safe distance, and stay at home. Let's all look out for one another's well-being and remember that we, the Filipino youth, are 30 million strong. If we all strive to be agents of change and work together, we can surely make a difference. This is Darren Espanto, your UNDP Youth Advocate, wishing you all a happy International Youth Day. Stay safe, everyone, and stay healthy. Maraming salamat po. Good night.